Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Ooh, microphone check 1 2 1 2.
3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, you can count. That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Australian education, an oxymoron in itself. What is up, Mr. Nelson? Nice shirt you got there.
Why, thank you very much. Available through the WWF website, wwf.org.ph.
Yes.
We also have, we can change the ending shirts, which I couldn't find. I think it's in the wash because I wore it the other day. But yes, all of these shirts are available, of course, at the WWF website in case anyone's interested.
First, nice little plug there, Mark.
Yeah, smooth, right?
Yeah, smooth like sandpaper. Very nice. No, but I had to comment on the shirts first because we both were told to specifically wear the hashtag change the ending t-shirts. And when I saw you come on, immediately you didn't have it on. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm not the only idiot. So
what's your excuse?
Laundry day, obviously. Laundry day. Okay, mine's 10 times better than your excuse.
Yes, the shirt says change the ending, but really it's just change your t-shirt. Well, happy Earth Day to you, Wilson.
Happy Earth Day, my man. You know, for people like ourselves, well, I shouldn't single us out, but this is our Christmas, you know?
Yes,
and I'm just so happy. I texted all my friends who were staunch environmentalists and tagged them on some posts, but it's a gift. It's a Christmas. It's jubilation. It's joyful. I love this day. I really do. How's your Earth Day so far?
So far, so good. I've still got some other stuff to post. I'm really happy with the post you constructed for our Mark and Rove Instagram. Very in tune with nature and our relationship to it. So thank you for that. I just want to wish everyone out there a happy Earth Day. We've got quite a few people. We've got 278 people watching right now.
Wow.
From all over the country, and I think there's even a few from overseas as well. So welcome everyone. I hope. Yeah.
Forgive me, Mark. Can you tell everybody at home exactly what you're looking at so they can just tune in?
Well, I'm looking right now at our Facebook Live as we
Facebook
speak.
Live. Got it. Can you read out the call letters and everything so that?
Yeah. Well, everyone. People. Well, if they're online, obviously they know where to go. But it's just on the WWF Facebook page. You just scroll down, you hit the Facebook Live that's happening now, and they get to see our ugly mugs.
I obviously was requesting that specifically for me because I want to get on the Facebook page of WWF.
Because obviously anyone listening and watching us now are already on it. You idiot.
It could be IG Live. No, it can't. No. Sorry, I'm saying the completely wrong platforms. We got to keep the viewers here. Facebook Live, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 0 for 2 now. Wrong T-shirt, wrong platform. Okay. Anyway, Earth Hour. Let's talk Earth Hour. Oh, I'm sorry.
Earth Day, you idiot.
Earth Day. Quick trivia for you, buddy. Quick trivia.
Fire away.
Earth Day is celebrating a birthday. In fact, this year is a very significant birthday. Do you know what that number is?
Is it 18? It's finally old enough to drink?
Yes. Lambanog. Got to keep it natural. No, it's close-ish. It's 50.
It's 50, yes.
Yes, Earth Day is officially,
50 years old.
Yeah, 50 years old. So April 22, 1970 was started by a junior senator from Wisconsin who was.
And do you know his last name?
I know his first name.
What's his first name?
Gaylord. What's his last name?
Nelson.
A direct descendant, clearly.
Well, if his name was really Gaylord, he probably didn't have many descendants.
He has lots of cats.
He has lots of cats.
Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, so anyway,
are they going to take us off there yet?
Yeah, I know. We take saving the Earth very seriously. Well, anyway, happy Earth Day, 50th anniversary. And it's fantastic. one of the largest mobilizations of honest to goodness citizens that love the earth, and deservedly so. Honestly, just like Earth Hour, Mark, you and I always wish it was Earth Day or Earth Week, and we wish Earth Day was Earth Month. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, let's start off Earth Day, our Earth Day, with Panda Talks. I think this is the very first Panda Talks officially, maybe the last.
It is. Yeah, after our pathetic excuse to an intro. But right. We want everyone to just remember that this is the first of the Panda Talks. We actually have more talks happening after these two idiots get off. I believe we have some of our WWF Youth Council coming on board later to speak. I think around 7 o'clock. So make sure you tune into that. I'm sure it'll be very interesting. They're having a conservation conversation. That's right. Yeah, conservation conversation. Yes.
I love that. That's very witty of our marketing team.
It is. Yes.
Say that 10 times fast.
Ladies first. Go ahead.
Okay, Gaylord. Conversation conservation. Conversation.
You're right.
Oh boy. Yeah. Horrible. But anyway, speaking of fellow WWF colleagues, we got one in particular that I can't wait to hear from.
That's right. A lot of people they're staying at home right now, and with food security being an issue, I mean, like, people don't want to go to the supermarket as much, and they're worried about food stocks coming in, and will they get enough vegetables? You can actually grow your very own vegetables at home, and it just so happens that WWF has a specialist in this regard. He is our WWF project manager for sustainable food systems, and he's going to be talking to us about urban container gardening, which is basically being able to grow your own food in a very limited space with just whatever containers you have around. It's a lot simpler than a lot of people realize. I've got a tower garden in my garden now, and I'm harvesting already. It's a magnificent thing. So without much further ado, shall we introduce him?
Yes, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Show your love for WWF Project Manager, Muncie Hinay. What's up, brother?
Muncie, come on board.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from Zamboanga City.
Nice. How's everything in Zamboanga? Kumusta po?
Yeah, so far so good. We're coping up very well, and still implementing the enhanced community quarantine, but we're doing good so far.
Oh, well, you know what? I think Mark and I can agree. If there's one place we'd love to be quarantined, it's in the province, and definitely Zamboanga would be. I mean, you're in paradise, really. So lucky you.
Yeah. Also spending quality time with the family, of course, and it's also nice to spend time growing your greens as well, especially now that we're stuck at home.
Well, actually, speaking of greens, we couldn't help but notice you've got quite the little forest beside you there. Would you like to introduce us?
Introduce your co-host.
I found a way to, bring some of the greens I actually grow in my garden in the other house. And I have some like kamote tops. I have some like little eggplants here.
Oh wow!
Some mustard in this repurposed container.
Wow!
And this we have the famous self-irrigating bottle with onion leeks, onion chives.
That's so beautiful.
And I think
amazing.
This is this is my basil in self-irrigating bottle,
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's what a self-irrigating bottle looks like. Do you see that, Mark?
Yeah.
We're gonna explain that later.
Yes, indeed.
With the wick. Oh, genius.
I
can smell the basil from here.
That is so good. Well, I mean, a lot of people now, Monchi, they're a little bit more concerned with food security, and people are looking into ways to being a little bit more self-sufficient. I mean, it's a shame that it's had to take the current COVID crisis to instill this desire in us. But a lot of people think, oh yeah, it'd be so nice if I could grow my own stuff, but I live in a condo, I don't have a garden, or if I have a garden, it's really tiny, or I'm not a farmer. it's going to be difficult. Would you like to tell people just how easy it can be?
Well, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So basically,
that's more than the fingers I have on one hand. I can't count more higher than that.
Yeah, but food security is really a concern of everyone. As broadly defined, food security also pertains to access to food, not just availability, not just the utilization of, but really access. So that creates a sort of empowerment for everyone to really seize the power to produce their own food. So with little or no knowledge at all, you can actually start growing your food based on what is available, the resources that's there in your house. And these are the things that I'm gonna tackle moving forward. But I'd still like to emphasize that growing your own food is very easy, and I think it is really the business of everyone to really secure food for the family. And if we know how to eat, of course, we should know how to grow our food.
Excellent. Good. Very good starter question, Mark. I'm going to ask Munchie regarding if you can maybe put a monetary price on things, just so we can get a roundabout figure in our head. Your basics, and of course, you're going to be recycling the bottle. So what would be a good round number that we can expect to have a fully functioning urban garden?
Well, based on my experience, I really started from scratch. Even the seeds that I grow, I actually was able to secure it for free from, of course, DA. But just think about this: 70% of our household income is being spent on food.
Wow!
Typical Filipino family spends around
mine's 90.
70%. Yeah. So yeah. So imagine the amount that can be displaced if you have your own food.
Wow.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So pretty much there's a very small amount of investment that will provide you a bigger form of, we call it passive income. The form of savings that you can actually save because you're not spending on food outside because you have all your garden. So
yeah, fantastic.
Okay, well, as a quick question, we know that it takes, like you said, it's a minor investment. So say you need to get things, a lot of the stuff you're going to be repurposing, but things like soil, and then if you want to do vermiculture, you need to buy worms and everything. So you would like 1,000 or 2,000 pesos. Would that be enough to set up a small, sustainable urban garden at home that would generate enough vegetables to feed a family of 4?
Yeah, I think that's fairly enough. 2,000 pesos for an urban price is fairly enough. But the reason that I encourage everyone to look into that creative mindset, because there's a lot of alternatives that you can actually use instead of buying. But for benchmarking purposes, maybe around 2,000, it's fairly enough for you to buy like a little bit of vermicompost or bokashi to start with, or buy seeds at the same time. If you're looking into buying some minor tools, that's fair enough.
Okay, so for the to idiot-proof it, so to speak. So for someone as clueless as Revilson and I, if we wanted to get into it, it's like, okay, so we invest like 2,000 pesos to get the basics. But if someone has a little bit more initiative and wants to spend a little bit more time looking around or being really creative with the things that they use, they can actually do it for less.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, that's good to hear.
I think your creativity and your imagination is limitless when it comes to urban gardening, no?
Exactly. That's what we want to encourage for people to be more innovative. I think this situation really calls for more innovation, more creative mindset. So urban container gardening is one of those ways we can actually exercise innovation and creative mindset.
Well, you know
Who-
what, oh yeah, sorry. You know what, Muncie,
well,
you seem like a creative kind of a guy. So would you like to take us through the steps of creating your own urban garden at home?
Yeah, of course. I would be honored to share to you some of the things that I actually know based on my actual practice and some of, uh, shall we say, the rule of thumb in terms of urban container gardening.
Okay.
So if we're good to go, I think, oh yeah, we can actually start.
All
Okay.
right,
Just
let's fire away.
you want
Here you
to
go.
maybe some people have already assembled some of the necessary ingredients and tools and materials. So maybe if you can just lay out what you will need.
Yeah, basically, number one consideration for urban container gardening is really your soil mix.
Okay.
So that's a very important thing to consider. Of course, you always consider soil as a living thing. It will provide nutrient for your plants. Well, soil is also important. The other important component is, of course, your seeds. So that's you're gonna plant it. And of course, since we're talking about urban container gardening, so we're gonna use some of those recyclables, whatever you have in your house, from soda bottles to used socks to ice cream container to boxes, whatever you have. And there you go. You can actually at least start to do your own seed sowing after this lecture.
Excellent,
Awesome.
excellent. Okay, I think everybody in their household will definitely have the container or a container. That's for sure.
Definitely, I think.
Okay.
All right. Well,
All right.
yeah, fire away. We're eager to learn.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen in a bit.
We've got some of our fellow pandas I've seen like jumping on board. Migo Bautista just jumped on board. You know, pandas and former pandas. We saw our former, Karen Abasco is here.
Oh, hi, Karen.
We had Lori Tan, I saw, was here a little bit earlier as well. Mael Cabigao, of course, our communications boss. Yeah, there's all sorts of wonderful friends, and we're now up to 563 people watching. That's a lot of people that are interested in container gardening.
Yes, fantastic.
All right.
Okay. So we right now I see a beautiful picture of Monsi, and then flanked by two, I don't know, like security, or what are they?
Mickey Mouse ears. I love the Panda Talks logo.
Yeah, that's really
cute.
That's
kind of cool. Would that be Chi-Chi or Chi-Chi's son or
cousin? Yeah, I don't know.
Or cousin, right? We need to find out, do a little more deep dive onto this one and find out. But if we have two pandas on the payroll, hey, I need to talk to somebody.
Wait, the pandas get paid? Yeah.
quick question. I don't know. Maybe you might know this, Mark, if Munchie's still busy. But do vegetables yield their fruits faster than fruits, or it just all really depends? I'm thinking they have a quicker gestation, and you can get your fruits, your vegetables from the vegetable plants faster than the fruit can bear fruit.
Now, do you mean from a seedling?
Yeah. If they were both seedlings, let's just
okay. If they're both seedlings, then yes, I would say generally you're going to get your vegetable sauce, but it really depends.
Okay. Well, tomato's a fruit, actually, and that.
Yeah, tomato's a fruit,
sauce.
and I was actually thinking of using avocado, but I believe avocado is also a fruit.
Yes, I think avocado is a fruit.
Yeah, because I know that takes like 7 years to grow.
Oh, no way! Wow.
Yeah, before it'll start producing.
Wow.
Well, from a personal point of view, my tower garden, I was already harvesting my my lettuce and arugula and basil. Ooh, maybe a month and a half from when it started.
No way.
Yeah.
That's super fast.
Yeah, I mean, the easy thing are the leafy vegetables. They grow quite quickly
Yeah.
and quite easily, and there's not a specific, like, harvest time. You can just keep growing them year round.
Oh, okay. So they're year round. And how long is, I guess, well, their shelf life? I mean, not shelf life after you cut them, but how long are they still crisp, I guess, in the ground?
Well, I think as long as you keep them alive, then they stay as fresh as can be until they start withering or drying out or
Right.
something. But I know that I left mine at probably at a harvestable stage for at least like a week and a half before I actually harvested. Like, I just thought like, okay, they're there. I'll get to them eventually. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, they were great. They were awesome.
Awesome. Good
So I
on you.
think if you stagger the plantings, then you
Hmm.
can also stagger the harvesting.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well
Um,
done. I saw that you posted a fresh salad from scratch, all from your
oh,
garden. That's awesome,
yeah, it
man.
was so good.
And I
By the
think,
way, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I'm putting a monetary price on it. I think that nice garden salad of yours would have cost you, 500 pesos in
Yeah,
any restaurant.
yeah, organic, no fertilizers, no pesticides, nothing.
Yun.
Now, speaking of how much things cost, helping the communities that WWF is involved in around the country costs something. Now, I'm talking about the people at our project sites, like the whale shark guides in Donsol, some of the fishermen in Mindoro, different rangers and everything that protect
Yes.
the oceans, that protect the wildlife, that are also helping communities, are having a hard time during this lockdown. And so if
Yes.
anyone wants to donate, then please have a look at the screen now, and you will see the Gcash QR code that will take you to Gcash, and you can donate directly from Gcash to help support the farmers, the fishermen, and all of the people that help take care of the environment and help support us as well. So please be generous if you can.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, we kind of forget that there's still our soldiers out there doing what they can for the environment. Our BOI officers, of course, everyone's been hit in their own way, but our BOI officers in particular, in Donsol, are hit because, of course, their tourist season is seasonal, which is now, and of course they're greatly affected. And then, of course, due to the butanding, aka whale shark, and their migratory patterns, they're not there all year round. So this is the window of opportunity to make money to feed their families for the year, and of course they can't do that because there's no tourists. So it's really unfortunate for them. I mean, for everybody waging this war, but our hearts go out to them in particular, the BIOs and everyone supporting the robust Donsol whale shark experience.
Yes, exactly. You made a very good point that these people are dependent on tourism, which is very, very seasonal. So you also have to remember that the money that they usually make during this peak season right now has to sustain them for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So when once this quarantine period is over and people will go back to work, sadly, that will also be the period where when they're able to go back to work, there will be no more work because it'll be the end of summer. And the whale sharks, are slowly moving on, and they're going to get less tourists. So we help them now, but we're also probably going to help them for the rest of the year until the next season.
Yeah. Okay. Mr.
Hey,
Mr. Green Thumb Hinay, how are you doing over there?
Yes, so far so good.
Okay, are you ready to start?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I think this is a very good time also to help out our frontliners, our food producers. So if you have a little bit of your resources, please support us, support our farmers by donating to this. You have the QR code there for Gcash donate.
Very true.
Okay.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Thank you so much. All right, so happy Earth Day, everyone. Once again, my name is Monsi, and I am part of WWF. And particularly, we are working on this area called sustainable food systems, where our goal really is to ensure conservation of our biodiversity while ensuring sustainable food systems that addresses food security as well as nutrition security. So essentially, that's the work that we do. And we work in many areas in the Philippines, from north to south, from the sugarcane fields of Negros, where we work with sugarcane farmers, the sugarcane industry, down to the many vegetable farms in Mindanao, where we work with different communities in ensuring sustainable farm-to-table program. So basically looking at how we can create more diversification of income and livelihood while ensuring sustainable production for our farmers. So, okay, we're covering around almost 5,000 farmers, working with them in the aspect of sustainable production technology, agro enterprise development, financial literacy and savings, and of course, ensuring that the natural capital where these areas are located are well protected. So that's pretty much the work that we do in WWF. So yes, so which is very well connected with my next slide, which talks about really food security. This is like it's always a pressing issue, but many of us don't really know what is the meaning of food security. So we might be thinking that this is just the role of our leaders, the role of our government and private sector stakeholders. But essentially, when you talk about food security, we're actually talking about a situation where people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food to meet their dietary needs and preferences for an active and healthy lifestyle. So there's a particular word in this definition that pertains to our topic today, which is the word access. So access means you can buy the food. If you have money, you can actually ask for food if there's donation or relief. But one important thing about access is the power to grow your own food. So when I talk about access to food in this context, I am actually talking about gardening, farming at home, producing your own food. So when I talk about home garden, I am talking about a farming system. So a home garden is not just an ordinary garden, but essentially it is a farming system which combines different physical and social, as well as economic functions of the area or the land surrounding a family home. So that's home garden. And you can actually derive a lot of benefits from home gardening. That's the reason why we always say that in order to empower the people to secure food for the family, they should also know the ropes of home gardening. So when you have a home garden, I mentioned this a while ago, you actually try to displace your money that's you're gonna spend for food. So 70% of our household income is spent on food. So you have passive income if you have a home garden, or you can source many of your vegetables or herbs, or even if you have chickens and livestock and poultry, you can actually that can actually provide for your access to food. And then there's another very important aspect or co-benefit of a home garden, which is the family interaction. Nowadays, since we're stuck at home, it's an opportune time to also teach our kids how to grow their own food and also provide them a very basic lesson on nature, environment, because growing vegetables is like taking care of nature. So what better way to explain environment and nature by teaching them how to grow food? So, and last but not the least, of course, it's a good source of good food. So you cannot actually exchange that with anything else. A food produced at home is safer than any other food you source from outside. So that's, I think, the three most important thing that can be provided by your home garden. Okay, so just to reiterate, even if we're talking about home gardening or urban container gardening, we're actually talking about a farming system. farming system involves a set of processes that can be applied to a conventional practice of producing food. So home garden is your small, or in microcosm, a home garden is a small way of understanding agriculture and farming. So that's, I think, the benefit of a home garden. Okay, so which brings me back to this topic that we have right now on urban container gardening. So just want to provide you guys with a definition, of course, of urban container gardening. So essentially, it is the creation of small farms or micro farm in very limited spaces, primarily in urban setups or urban household, where your crops are being grown in containers instead of growing it directly into the ground. So, and the other aspect of urban container gardening pertains to addressing food security. That is very important, as already mentioned. And the other very important thing that urban container gardening is addressing is your household waste management approach. No? So while you're growing food, you're actually managing waste at home. So that's really hitting two birds with one stone, and a good way for household to actually contribute to solving a bigger problem in the society, which is your waste problem and food security. So we can always consider how urban container gardening as a way to empower households to contribute meaningfully to addressing these two basic issues of food security and household waste management. Okay. So I would like to show you a video and just exactly to visualize what is a home garden, so, or an urban container garden. So an urban container garden example is shown in this video, where so this is a video of garden of my friend in Davao City. He is one of those who really advocated for urban container gardening. His name is Jojo Rom. And if you can see, many vegetables are being grown in containers, different types of containers. And in very limited space, you can actually have this diversity of food. So you're earning this garden supplemental income from the sales of vegetables and potting mix and eggs and chickens. All right, so that's why in urban container gardening, we always say that limited spaces actually need wider mindsets. So when you have a limited space, you need to be more creative, more innovative in trying to figure out how to maximize use of space to grow your own food. So that's essentially the kind of mindset we want you guys to learn in urban container gardening. So basically, my lecture will dwell on a number of technical aspects of growing in containers, but also will provide you some sort of inspiration on really trying to start growing with your food, start producing food within a single pot, and really try to learn from that experience. So urban container gardening is a learning by doing approach. So we learn as we move forward with our technology application of the different methods of growing food in containers. Okay, so the next question would be, this is usually the question I try to ask, not just the adult, but also the kids when I try to teach them about urban container gardening. How do plants grow? So maybe some of the audience can actually type in their responses on how those plants, how the process of growing plant takes place.
Can we also participate?
Yes, of course.
All
Roger
right.
and Mark.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, so there you go. And what better way to tell you guys the process of growing food by telling you a story. So when I try to teach kids about urban container gardening, or even parents and women I always go back to the story of a seed. So the name of the seed is butoy or buto or a seed. And in that story, one of the very important characters is the farmer or the gardener or you guys. No, you're one of the important characters of the story of the seed because in you lies the adoption of technology and you provide the tender love and care that is needed in growing your own food. But aside from you, the other characters in the story of the seed also are your container, of course, and the seed and the soil or your potting mix, and then your seed or butoy, uh, which later on will grow into a seedling and with the help of some friends, sunlight, water, and fertilizer, it will grow to flower. And at the same time, through the help of our pollinator friends like bees and butterflies, will grow to bear fruit. And of course, the story doesn't end with bearing fruit, but also there are enemies down the line. And these are the insect pests that will attack your plant. And in order to combat that, there is what we call a natural pest control, which is our flower friends that will help you repel the insects and attract more pollinators to ensure that your plants will be growing very well. So there you go. That's the story of the seed. And pretty much encapsulates all the process that I'm going to discuss moving forward. So later on, we'll just go back to discuss this story. But let's begin with the 6 steps in urban container gardening, or 6 basic steps to follow in urban container gardening. So just to make a very like sort of recommendation for you guys when you're starting your container garden. So as for me, I started container gardening way back 2011 when I started my fence garden with growing vegetables like pechay, alogbati, and moving forward to grow more vegetables, more complicated process in growing vegetables. But I started with a single pot. And to begin with your urban container gardening, of course, you start small and grow only what you need. So for us to have to experience a more success in terms of growing our vegetables, you just start small and grow the basic vegetables or gulay that you need. In my case, like I grow kamote, I grow onion chives, I grow very basic pechay, very easy to grow and for you to at least appreciate the process of growing food, especially in containers. So let's proceed with the first step in growing your urban container garden. So this is very important. We understand that in the setup of an urban housing or urban residential units, the space are very limited, and you have this limitation in terms of access to nutrients, access to sunlight. So these are some of the things that you need to cover when you're trying to start your garden. Number one, select your garden site. So just 3 basic things to consider in terms of the location of your garden. So don't forget that we need to secure at least you have an access to soil and nutrients for your garden. So access to soil also means you have a capacity to do maybe composting, or maybe you have some small topsoil available in your area, or you are near to a place where you can actually get the soil or buy the soil if possible. Number 2, of course, access to water. This is very basic because we need to water the plants. And if you don't have flowing water, you can actually catch water. You can set up like rainwater catchment to save water during the rainy days and use it as your watering your plants. And number 3, very important, and I think this is where some of the gardeners actually fail is understanding the sunlight and shade requirement of your plants. So you need to have enough access to sunlight and shade for your plants. So there's a requirement, no, in terms of sunlight and shade access. So there are actually types of plants that require more than 6 hours of direct sun exposure. So if you're familiar with vegetables such as chili pepper, eggplant, tomato, ampalaya, upo, or watermelon, this type of vegetables require 6+ hours of direct sunlight. So if you're planning to grow this type of vegetables, you actually locate your garden in an area that will be exposed to more than 6 hours of sunlight. The other type of crops require at least 50-50, 50% shade, 50% sunlight exposure. So these are mostly your herbs. Lettuce, cucumber, your sitaw or beans or pole beans, carrots, radish, garlic, and ginger. So very basic. So these are the types of vegetable that require 50-50 sunlight and shade requirement. So, and the last but not the least are the shade-loving vegetables. So these are the type of vegetables that require minimal sun exposure, at least 3 to 4 hours of direct sun exposure. And these are your mustard, your arugula, spinach, garlic, chives, and mint. So these are, I think, basic vegetables you actually need in your household. So this is very important. No? It's the step number 1. Now, when you have already identified your location for your garden, now let's proceed to step number 2. Maybe some of you guys can actually cite your garden location. So are you growing it in balcony or staircase or rooftop? As for me, I started my garden in Quezon City when I moved to Quezon City way back 2012. In a rooftop, where I actually grow these type of vegetables in a hanging container garden. So as you can see, these are pechay. These are pechay being grown in hanging soda bottles. But aside from pechay, I was able to grow ampalaya, sitaw. I also was able to grow chili peppers and some lettuce in this hanging rooftop garden. Yeah. And here in Zamboanga, maybe just to also share to you, we have a small space where we actually grow some of the vegetables that you see here in a staircase container garden. And we use different things. We actually use, the electric fan cover to sow our seeds. We use soda bottles. We even use, your, what do you call this? Conditioner, fabric conditioner container, and so on, in growing our food. So basically, this staircase garden has around 10 plus vegetables grown in unlimited space. All right, so that's I think a sharing of my small garden project, as also to maybe explain to you some of the experiences that I've learned now in growing food in containers. All right, so let's proceed with step number 2. Step number 2 actually tells you to grow your seed. So when you have the soil, when you have the site location, you now start to grow your seed. And the very important thing to consider in growing your seed is your soil mix. So we all understand that soil is a living thing, and it's very important in growing our vegetables. And there are like characteristics of good soil mix that we need to be reminded of. So when you're looking for your soil mix, you just consider number 1, it has to be loose soil, or sa Tagalog, mabuhaghag. And then number 2, it has a good water retention capacity, like it can hold water. This is very important because we need moisture in the soil. And number three, the soil should be healthy. So we actually encourage you to uh, provide or put in compost or use compost, or refrain from using soil that's exposed to toxic or harmful chemicals. So there you go. So that's the soil requirement. And the second one is your potting mix. So of course, using the characteristics of a good soil, what I have here are like some recommendatory sample or potting or soil mixes that you can use. Whatever you have in your house, or whatever you can actually buy if possible. You can do your own mixing of soil. As you can see, I shared two mixes that I actually use, but there's like a number of different soil mix depending on what is available. But for starters, I recommend this two type of soil mix, where you can use number one in the first set, rice hull mixed with your garden soil, mixed with your compost, and you already have your soil. If you don't have a rice hull, you actually use sieve sand, and garden soil and compost. So it's very important to sieve the soil very well. You can use a screen or a net in sieving the soil, just to eliminate foreign materials such as um, um, nails, big stones, or plastics that's in the soil, and mixing it well, and at the same time, uh, s- uh, solarizing it or solarize the soil. It's a process where you expose the soil to the direct sun for about 8 hours in order to at least kill some soil-borne diseases that will eventually affect your plants. So this is a very simple process. So once you mix everything, you just expose it or solarize it in order for it to be sort of sterilized, no, before you actually use the soil. Okay. So, and then when you have already your soil and you have already sterilized it, it's a good soil mix already. Um, you can now start to sow your seeds. So, as for me, in terms of seed sowing, I actually use the mix of rice hull, garden soil, and compost, and I add vermicast to in order for it to be more healthier, at least uh, for seed sowing. So in my example, I actually currently I'm using this milk box in sowing pechay. So I use this mix of rice hull, garden soil, and compost plus vermicast. But however, in terms of sowing your seeds, you actually have two ways of sowing your seed. You can directly sow your seed into your containers if you're planting leafy vegetables such as lettuce, pechay, or mustard, or pak choy, kangkong, or okra. And at the same time, you can use a seedling tray if you are planting chili pepper, tomato, eggplant, cucumber, and ampalaya. And a seedling tray may cost you. This is for sale actually. This is you can actually buy this, but in order for you to uh, get a very good, a nice way for you to do seed sowing, you can actually utilize some of your recyclables in the house, like this one. Like I have an egg tray. You can use an egg tray, or in sowing a seed, you can actually use a plastic cup if you have plastic cups there. Um, so at least one seed per cup, or for your egg tray, one seed per hole. So that's how you use it. So, and in terms of the type of seeds that you're gonna use, you have actually two options. There are ready to buy seeds. Of course, these are called hybrid seeds. And there's another seed called open pollinated seed. So hybrid seed is really a process of, it comes from a process called hybridization, while your open pollinated seed comes from your seed that you actually harvest from the plants that you bought from the market, and you just try to reuse the seeds, no, for you to produce your vegetable. So that's step number 2. Very easy to do. So I would like to emphasize that maybe some of you guys are having a hard time looking for ways to create your own soil mix. But just to focus on this slide, which shows you household waste fraction. I mentioned about urban container gardening as a way to manage household waste at home. 52% of your household waste is actually biodegradable waste. Some of them, or most of them, are food waste. So like kitchen scraps, or like your leftover food, and others. And by saying that, you actually have a very good resource that you can use to create your own soil through a process called composting. So by composting, you can actually get a good source of soil and fertilizer as well. So I'm just gonna share you a video just to introduce composting and show you different ways to compost your kitchen waste. Now, so the video will play in a second. But just to make it very clear, in urban container gardening, we always say no soil, no problem, because composting is the solution. Okay, there you go. So you can actually use different form of composting, whichever is more applicable or more viable in your location. You can use heap composting, or you can use a compost bin where you put in your waste, cover it with a little soil, wait for it to be decomposed or more than a month. And also you can use bokashi composting. In Metro Manila, bokashi composting is very popular. So that's one of the ways you can actually use in composting your household kitchen waste. But as for me, in our household, we do this vermicomposting. So much of the soil that I use and the fertilizer that I actually apply to my plants come from my vermicompost bin, which in vermicomposting, we are actually using vermi or worm in breaking down the kitchen waste into ready-made compost. So, well, vermi is also a nice pet. It's the kind of pet that keeps on giving you soil, giving you fertilizer. So if you don't have vermi, you can actually do the different approach in terms of composting, either using a bin, or using a compost pit, or using your heap composter, or maybe doing bokashi composting, whichever is more viable in your case. Okay.
So, hey, Monsi,
yes,
can I
Mark?
just ask a quick question on behalf of the viewers? Can you describe a little bit about the different composting methods, like how it's done, so that people will have an idea of which one might be suitable to them? Like, what's the difference between pit composting and bin composting?
Yeah, so very quickly, if you're using a bin composting, you're actually utilizing maybe a plastic bin to compost your kitchen waste, where you like ensure that you reduce the moisture of your kitchen waste before you fill in the compost bin. So you just mix the kitchen waste with a little bit of soil or sawdust, and then cover it. Wait for it to be decomposed in a matter of maybe 2 months. Bokashi composting is another way to compost, where you still use a bin, bokashi composting bin, but instead of adding soil, you add the bokashi bran, which you can buy, and because it has effective microorganism, it breaks down your kitchen waste easily, or at least efficiently, for you to have compost in a shorter period of time. The other composting method is what they call compost pit, or pit composting. So very easy. You just like dig a hole in the ground, and you place all your waste there, mixed waste, may it be cooked food or leftover food or kitchen scraps, paper, eggshells, meat, whatever you have, and then cover it with leaves, and then cover it with soil and wait for it to be decomposed and will form part of your soil. And the other composting method is called heap composting, where we use a particular material. You use a wooden box, and just pile up everything in that box. Primarily, these are heap composting is actually used in composting leaf litters. If you have leaves there laying on the ground, you just like gather all the leaves and trunks and branches and then pile it up in a heap composter. And then after maybe a month or two, you can start to collect the compost and then try to sieve it, and you have already your soil. So and for me, you can actually use all of this at the same time. If you have the resources, you have the area, you can use maybe a combination of vermicomposting, a combination of bokashi composting, and using a little bit of peat composting if you have a little space. So pretty much the idea of composting is really to reduce the household waste that we dispose to the landfills. By using composting, we reduce the waste. At the same time, we produce our own soil and fertilizer for our plants. So yeah, so that's it. So that's some of the basic type of composting method we can use at home.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that.
I love it. I love it. Monty, we really appreciate it. Project manager for WWF. Not just somebody who was told to do this assignment just for this, but he actually walks the walk, talks the talk. He's been growing his garden for over a decade now. He uses the vegetables on a daily, and it's more than definitely benefiting him now, especially during the pandemic. Mark, you as well are a big proponent of this, I assume.
Yes, no, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I invested in a tower garden not so long ago, and I'm so thankful that I did. But of course, you don't have to go out and buy something like a tower garden. You can make it yourself. You can, as Monty is saying, you can build it out of just about anything. And it's such a shame that we throw away so much food scraps. I mean, I'm learning more about composting right now. I do have a composting pit, but then I didn't realize that, for instance, that an open pit compost, you can throw in things like eggshells and even meat scraps and everything, because I thought it was just all vegetables and fruit. So, right. It's great to know that that's also an option.
Yeah. Hey, I just think if it's organic, then it goes in. As long as you don't throw anything plastic related, then I think you'll be fine. Mother Nature just has a way of turning things back to her.
Absolutely.
She will find a way. But yeah, go ahead. Is that you, Muncie?
Yeah, absolutely, Rov. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, sorry to disturb you. But yeah, Rovilson, what did you want to say?
Oh well, time check. It's 5:58. Just turned 5:59. I hate to cut this presentation short. I believe we're going to go and move on to our next presentation. We're going to switch gears and go into a more fun mode. Not that this wasn't fun, but this was more on the educational side. This, of course, concerns our youth council. Is that on the lineup? Can I get a nod? Can I get a thumbs up? Yes.
No.
I got a no.
Sorry.
My bad.
Sorry. That's happening at 7 o'clock on Instagram.
Okay, forgive me. Okay.
So yes. But what we would like to announce is that if you're enjoying the Panda Talks, we will continue with this Panda Talk now. But if you're enjoying this Panda Talk, you might also be interested in another Panda Talk we have happening on April 29th from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. It's called Conserve Water and Conserve Forest. That's going to be with Paolo Pagaduan, who is our project manager for forests and water. And of course, Miss Earth 2000, I think, was it 17, Karen Ibasco. That's happening once again, April 29 from 11 to 12 noon, conserve water, conserve forests. But for now, we're going to keep going with this urban container gardening with Monsi, and we're still going to go for at least another half an hour. So
yes, absolutely.
Monsi, sorry, we're so sorry that we interrupted you, and please, let's go, let's keep going. We've got so much more to learn.
Yes, thank you so much, Mark. We're now on the step number 3, which is about selecting your container. So we're talking about urban container gardening. Of course, container is very important, but I would like to emphasize that we need to reuse our recyclable containers at home because as already presented, 43% of our household waste are made of recyclables. And these include like your containers, your plastics, single-use plastics. So from making it a single-use plastic problem, you convert it into a urban food security solution. So what we're doing in urban container gardening is actually urban food security solution. We're trying to reuse at least whatever containers that we have at home. And the second one, if you're looking at containers, you might as well look into different sizes of container vis-a-vis your type of plant. So when you say container that you are gonna use, it should be enough to support the size of your plant while it's growing. At the same time, sturdy enough to hold the soil. And of course, this is very important too. You should create drainage in your container for water drainage and root pruning. So these are at least 2 of the most important things to consider if you're gonna use a container. So, and there's a way for you to actually utilize your container. Most of us I'm sure you've seen it on the social media that there's what they call self-irrigating bottle technology. So this is very easy to do. For starters, you guys can actually learn from this. You can grow your food in self-irrigating bottle, either a PET bottle or a gallon or a big pail. Definitely, self-irrigating technology utilizes capillary action or a wick system which transport water to the soil in a more efficient manner. So in the case of these onion chives, instead of watering this every day, I just make use of this container, the other half of this soda bottle as a container for water, and with a wick system or a cloth made of cotton, the water can travel from the base to the soil in order to provide moisture for your plants. It's very easy. You can actually do this. So I have shown you some of the slides or the set of steps you can actually follow in making your self-irrigating bottle. But to emphasize, I already I've shown this like earlier. This is a self-irrigating bottle that I planted with basil. This is a gallon made of a gallon for water that I utilized. And with the self-irrigating bottle technology, you can actually conserve water while being able to grow your plants. So it's very easy. So that's step number 3. But in terms of making your or choosing your container, there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways to choose from. You can either use the self-irrigating bottle technology, which I mentioned, and of course, like Mark is using the vertical barrel garden. Is this the one you have, Mark?
Yes, that is the one on the left-hand side. Yes, it looks just like that.
Exactly. So, but me, I'm using the same principle with the vertical barrel garden, but I'm using a pail. So a smaller version of your vertical barrel garden, where I grow multiple crops from this. I have here some eggplant, and I grow basil, alugbate, tomato, alongside marigold, alongside kamote, and others. So basically, you can grow multiple crops in limited space with this technology. But in terms of container, your imagination is actually the limit. You can pretty much use everything. I use the electric fan cover in seed sowing. You can use sacco. You can use your different types of containers. Whatever you have at home, important thing to remember, it should have a drainage and it should be bigger enough to hold the soil for your plants. But for like plants like leafy vegetables, you can use a smaller container, maybe soda bottles, or even this fabric conditioner container I planted with mustard. So very easy to do. And of course, this one, my onion chives. Okay, so that's it. Now for step number 3. Now let's go to step number 4. Step number 4 pertains to transplanting your seedlings. So once you grow your seeds, you need to transplant it to a bigger container. So I mentioned about 2 ways to sow the seeds. One is direct into the container. The other one is using a seedling tray. Now, when you're using a seedling tray, or using a milk box as your seedling tray, after the plant is already big enough, you can actually transplant it to a bigger container. So when you're transplanting, these are the things to remember. You know, so for specific crops, there are number of days you need to remember when to transplant. So for example, you're growing tomato, eggplant, chili pepper. That's roughly 21 to 28 days after seed sowing. You can already transplant your seedlings. Or for crops like gourd, ampalaya, squash, upo, or cucumber, that's very quick. You can already transplant it in a matter of week or 2. And there's a time for transplanting. A preferable time is afternoon, in order for the plant to adjust to its new environment. So very, very easy to do. When you're transplanting, you're actually following this process. So there's a process on how to transplant. You just basically fill the container with your soil mix, and then you choose from your seedling tray the quality or good quality seedling, and then you punch a hole in the middle of the container, and then you transplant your seedling and ensure that the roots are intact or the roots are not damaged, and then you just water it very quickly, sprinkle it with water for it to have moisture that it needs for the seedling to grow. So that's your step number 4. Basically, to visualize it, the photo in your screen is an example of how to transplant. So how many of you here have heard of the word mulch? So when you're doing container farming or container gardening, water moisture is very important. So a mulch is a layer of material applied to the soil surface in order for it to be, number 1, it conserves moisture, number 2, to improve soil fertility, and number 3, to eliminate weeds or grasses in your container. So you can actually use these waste materials like wood chips, dried sawdust, dried grass clippings, rice hay, or even a nutshell in creating a mulch for your container. So I actually use dried grass clippings in my mulching in my bigger containers. Okay, so that's number 4. I think we should be reminded that urban container gardening is very easy. You just have to start with a vegetable crop that is easy to grow, like your kamote tops. So that's very easy to grow. So your kamote tops, like for example, I have this red kamote here. This is like a 2-week-old red kamote planted by my daughter. So it's actually, it has leaves now. So in a matter of time, I'll be able to harvest this kamote. And along with kamote, there are a number of crops you can actually grow fast and easy. So these are like the crops we can plant and grow in 30 to 35 days. So alugbati, you have kamote tops, you have pechay, kangkong, onion leaves. If you're familiar with kulitis or amaranth, that you can actually grow that in 30 days. And of course, lettuce. So I am sure Mark mentioned about growing lettuce in 35 days. So that's very fast and easy. And for starters, these are the types of vegetables you can actually grow. And now, step number 5, we're down to 2 last steps. Step number 5 is about watering and fertilizing. So of course, very basic. We need to water our plants regularly. Watering in the morning or in the late afternoon. And of course, aside from watering your plants, we need to apply fertilizer. So watering is of course very important in the photosynthesis process of the plant, but applying organic fertilizer also addresses the nutrition requirement of your plant. So just like us humans, we also need nutrition. So your plants definitely need nutrition in to grow and to bear fruit. So there are like a number of ways you can create an organic fertilizer, but I would like to emphasize that in urban container gardening, we should follow the least cost option. So the less expensive or the cheaper it is, the better for you. So we can make our homemade organic fertilizer, and I'm gonna share you at least to you at least 4 ways to make your organic fertilizer at home. So these are like FPJ, FFJ, Weed Tea, and GMT. So let's start with GMT, or what we call green manure tea. So this is actually a concoction of the fresh leaves of a leguminous tree, maybe ipil-ipil or Madrid de cacao. You just mix it with water. The ratio is 1:1, 1 kilo of your fresh leaves to 1 gallon of water. And then you can ferment it in 7 days. And there you go. You can actually dilute it in water and then water your plants. So there is no overdose. You can water every day or twice a week. Depends on you. But this is very cheap. You can use it like in a span of a week. And then you have another batch ready in case you want to produce more. So the other fertilizer that I'm going to share is called weed tea. So similar to your green manure tea, instead of using leguminous trees or ipil-ipil, cacao, why not use the grass clippings in your backyard, in your front yard? So every time you cut the grasses in the morning, you keep it fresh and mix it with water, ferment it for another 7 days, and then you have already your weed tea. You can actually use this to water your plants, and this is very rich in growth hormone. It's very needed by the plants in growing and in ensuring that the plant is healthy while growing up. So weed tea is another very cheap option or ultra low cost option you can use at home. And then if ever you have a small amount of money, then we will make this next concoction. We called FPJ, or organic fermented plant juice. So FPJ essentially is a fermentation of leafy vegetables, fresh leafy vegetables such as kamote tops, kangkong, alugbati, and sugar or brown sugar. So for every 2 kilos of your chopped or sliced vegetables, you mix it with a kilo of sugar, and then you ferment it for another 7 days. And this is for pampalaki ng tanim, pampatibay ng tanim. So here I actually made a small batch of FPJ from these red kamote tops here, and I'm about to harvest this tomorrow. So I'm gonna have my FPJ fertilizer by tomorrow. I'm gonna use to water or to fertilize my plants here in my house. So the other, last but not the least, is your fermented fruit juice. This is another fertilizer which you can make, and it is good for flowering and for fruiting of your vegetables. So just like your FPJ, you just like chop ripe fruits like banana, mango, avocado, papaya, mix it with brown sugar, 1:1 ratio, ferment for 7 days, and you have already your fertilizer. So the process for FPJ and FFJ is the same, pretty much the same. You need to ferment it once after you mixed it in a room temperature, and then you harvest it by straining it properly and storing the concentrate or syrup. And then you just apply 2 tablespoons of FPJ or FFJ and mix it with water. and you have already your fertilizer that's good for you, good for the plant, because this is organic. So this is a very simple process, but will provide you a better yield for your plants. Okay, so just to remind you guys, when it comes to fertilization, nutrient management is key to plant health. So don't just water, apply fertilizer as well. So you can, in fact, use the compost that you're gonna gather from your composting is also a good source of fertilizer. That's it. So, and now we're down to our last step, which is about your natural pest control. So in growing vegetables, you cannot you cannot prevent it, but there are times that your plants will be attacked by garden pests. And of course, I always emphasize that in urban container gardening, the gardener or the farmer should spend more time or spend at least a quality time in the garden and ensure that you take care of your garden at least once a day or maybe twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. But also, you need to grow this natural pest control in order to repel pests or attract pollinators to help your plants flower. So number one is practice companion cropping. So I will explain it later, but the second one is about growing different flowering plants like marigold, zinnia, petunia, blue-ternate as natural pest repellent and pollinator attractant for your vegetables. So companion planting number one, you can actually plant these crops alongside with other friendly crops to create an environment where they complement each other and they repel pests and attract natural pollinators. So an example here is that when you plant pechay, you can also grow potato, celery, onion, and garlic. Or if you're growing cucumber, which is a sort of a climbing plant or vine, you can plant sitaw or corn or eggplant alongside cucumber. So very easy to do. And companion planting actually maximizes the use of limited space so where you can have more crop diversity in a specific area or location of your garden. Okay, so the second one is about your ornamental plants. So if you're familiar with zinnia, you can actually grow this in your containers so it attracts pollinators. The other one is marigold. It also repels insect pests. Petunia, which is a beautiful flower, it attracts pollinators. And it's a very colorful flower. And of course, your blue-ternate, you can attract pollinators by planting blue-ternate. And of course, you will have blue-ternate tea later on if you can harvest already the flower. And yeah, so that's how you do natural pest control. So that's the last step that I'm gonna share. But you know, urban container gardening is very easy. And just to recap, you start with step one, which is garden site selection. Step two, which is you're growing your seed. Step three, selecting good container. Step four, transplanting your seedlings. Step five, watering and fertilization. And last but not the least, step number six is about growing your natural pest control. So it's very easy. It's very fun thing to do. And just to repeat again the story of the seed, for you to be reminded that this is a story I'm telling you guys. So these are the characters of the story of the seed, and it matches perfectly with all the steps that I mentioned a while ago. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I just want to end the story. The story of the seed actually it ended with a beautiful yield. So when you follow the 6 steps, you will have a very bountiful harvest, providing access to food for your families. So thank you so much for your time, and I want to entertain questions. You guys have like questions you can throw at me. Thank you so much.
Awesome, great job.
Wow.
Thank you so much for that, Monsi. I think actually even before we move on to the questions, I've been reading the comments, and the number one comment that everyone has been asking is, will this presentation be available for people to download, say maybe we could, do you think we'd be able to put it up on the WWF Philippines website?
Yeah, sure. We are
Excellent.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people have listened in, but maybe they haven't been able to take notes or write everything down. So it's a very comprehensive presentation that you've given. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from Monty himself. He will make this available. Just look in the next day or two at wwf.org.ph. Hopefully we can put a link on the Facebook page as well, where you can download this presentation and refer to it when you are creating your very own urban container garden.
Very, very thorough. Muncie, thank you so much. We can tell the love, passion, and enthusiasm in your voice when you're talking about this. We really see it as a labor of love. And I think, I'm not a gardener yet, but I have tons of houseplants, and I too feel that way when I'm tending to them. So thank you so much, Muncie. We appreciate so much your knowledge, your time, and your enthusiasm.
Yes,
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much, Rob and Mark. It's a very great opportunity to work with you guys virtually for this first ever webisode. And I would also like to recognize some of the pandas here. Like my teammate Zeth is here trying to answer some of the queries of our participants. Yeah, so Zeth is our project officer. He's also an agriculturist. So yeah, thank you so much, Zeth, for answering some of the queries. And I would like to just leave a message for everyone. Like, urban container gardening is not really hard. It's very easy, and I think you should start with one pot. Start with a single plant. Start with a single container, and learn from it. So as you go along, you will learn a lot of things. And I hope that by the time ends, you'll be able to really secure food for your families. Thank you so much.
All right. Now, yes. before we move on to asking if there are any questions from any of our viewers, we still have another about 8 minutes left. We just want to remind everyone about the other Panda Talk we have coming up on April 29th from 11 a.m. to 12 noon with Paolo Pagaduan, our project manager for forest and for water, and of course, Miss Karen Ebasco, Miss Earth, whichever year that was, 2017, I think, or 2016, anyway. But we also want to remind people that WWF Philippines will also post a post-assessment survey link in the Panda Talks Facebook event page that viewers can answer to help us improve on these Panda Talks. We know that looking at all of the reactions, that it's been fantastic. But if there's anything that we can do to make this even better for you guys, the viewers, these Panda Talks, especially during these quarantine days, then please leave the comments in that survey so that we can make this as wonderful an experience for you as possible.
Thank you for bringing up the viewers. I just would like to comment on their comments. Highly educated, they know what they're talking about. They're asking the right questions. I hope we can get to them as soon as possible. Time check is 6:23. So Muncie, you ready for some inquisitive questions from our lovely viewers?
Sure, yes, thank you.
Okay. Wow, geez, we got to scroll back. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of questions, but
well, how about we just ask everyone that's listening in now?
Okay.
Just post your questions now, questions only, and then we'll try and get through as many of them as possible.
Okay, first come, first serve.
Yep.
But everyone is saying they've learned a lot, very informative. They can't wait to start their own garden. So again, we've done an excellent job today. Free seeds. First question, free seeds. Well, you know what? The majority of all the materials that were available that you need in order to construct your garden, most of it are free. Most, soil is free, water is free. The containers you can recycle. A good majority of the seeds can be free as well. So, we Pinoys are very innovative. We can get the most out of almost nothing. So I challenge you guys to get free seeds. They're everywhere, really. But I guess, Muncie, simply buying the seeds from the store, the ones in the packets, are those okay, acceptable?
Yes, I think I would like to also inform everyone that the national government is actually, through the DA, is actually giving out seeds for free.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
yeah. Like I just came from the office of the DA here in Zamboanga, and I received, I think, 10 seed packets for my household. So that's really part of the program now, to give out free seeds.
Nice.
And what we're doing right now, Rov, is like also very complementary with the seeds they're giving out for free, because we're giving out innovative tools and training. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Well, what's the process in order for them to get the free seeds? What's the number they have to call, or the website?
Well, I think they need to call their local DA first to confirm, and then they
Department of
need to
Agriculture.
yes, and then they need to visit the DA office to get the seeds. I think some of the LGUs are delivering the seeds from house to house, but most of the DA offices, they distribute the seeds via their offices. So you must call them first, maybe just to confirm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so
Moving on
much.
to some of the other questions. I see a few people are asking about how to get rid of ants and mealybugs.
Yes, please.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I mentioned about like some of the natural pest control strategies that you can use, but
Yes.
in terms of, if worst case scenario, your plant is being attacked by this type of pests, it means something. So it means that maybe your plant is not healthy, or the soil is not healthy. But there's a thing called biopesticide. It's a pesticide but made from natural ingredients such as chili pepper, garlic, ginger, and then you just like blender it along with vinegar, and you now create your herbal extract. You can use that herbal extract as your spray to the pest. You spray directly to the pest. But there's a number of ways you can do that. In urban container gardening, I just like to emphasize, because you have a very little garden, you can actually tend to your garden and look at every plant. So whenever you see a pest, you just remove it immediately. Or whenever you see a leaf, you can just cut the portion of that leaf that is infected. And there you go. That's the basic good agricultural practice you need to do when you're doing urban container gardening. And then in the worst case scenario, you now apply the biopesticide.
Okay. You know, I remember seeing somewhere that people were suggesting using pencil shavings to keep bugs away, because I think it's the cedar, the cedar wood is naturally repels a lot of bugs that's used in pencils.
Yes, you can actually use even baking soda, or like for slugs and for snails, you can apply ash, and you can actually use also garlic, vegetable oil, and dishwashing paste mix to eliminate this pest. So
okay, and that does not harm the plants at all?
Does not harm the plants at all. So you just target the pest. No, you don't spray it all over the plant. You spray it on target. So yeah.
Okay, excellent. And someone else was asking, Sour Pan was asking, can we control odor from the bin compost?
Yes, definitely. When I started my vermicomposting, one problem I encountered is odor. So I tried to look at the cost, and I figured out that I'm putting kitchen waste that is very wet. So what I did was to first reduce the moisture content of my kitchen waste, and then put it in the bin. So you don't just put very wet kitchen scrap directly into the bin, because it will really create that smell. The other one is if you're using a compost bin, using raw meat or like cooked meat will also attract ants, and will attract create odor. So you can eliminate that one and use maybe the pit method in composting those type of scraps. So what you put in your bin are the paper, are the eggshells, are the kitchen scraps, except meat and cooked food.
Okay, but with the pit compost, would that then have a smell?
Definitely not, because you're gonna cover it. So yeah, we're gonna cover it anyway, so it will not create that smell. But I suggest that you ensure that you once you put everything there, you need to cover it with a layer of soil or a layer of dried leaves or sawdust.
So once
Excellent.
you've left it in a pit compost for say a month or two, then you just turn it and spread it around your garden and create a new pit compost or what?
Yeah, you can actually harvest. So once you do that pit composting, you can put everything there, cover with soil in a month or maybe 2 months, and
Mhm.
then you dig it again, and there you go. You have already your compost. So, but maybe some of the pit compost will really take much longer, maybe 3 months, 4 months. Depends
Mhm.
on the area, depends on the location.
Okay.
But that compost there, you can actually put it directly to your I mean, once you sieve it, once you
Mm.
filter it out, you can put it directly on your container garden, or can mix it with the soil, the other soil mix components.
Okay.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you, Muncie. Staying quickly on the topic of I guess smell and fertilizer. So Kiko Velhagen is asking, how effective do you recommend using coffee grounds as fertilizer?
Yes, I also use coffee grounds, but not
Hmm.
so much in vermicomposting. Coffee grounds,
Okay.
because of its acidity. So in we're actually taking care of the vermi, the pet worm, and they're very allergic to acidic food. So
Mm.
Interesting.
just
Okay.
a little bit of coffee ground. What I do is like I
Okay.
mix the coffee grounds with the other waste and in the composting bin, which
Okay.
Right.
doesn't contain
I,
vermi. Yes.
I would think the coffee grounds would be an odor eliminator.
Yes, it is. It's very strong. It has a very
Okay.
strong odor.
Okay.
Sorry, smell.
Uh-huh.
Coffee smell. Yeah.
Okay, good. So that might help out the previous question.
Or you can use it as
Um,
your, you know what, facial moisturizer.
Facial
Yeah,
facial
facial
oh
scrub.
scrub.
yeah,
Scrub.
of
Yeah.
course, of
Yeah.
course. Exfoliating for its great exfoliating powers. Let's take a couple more, Mark. Let's do it
Yeah. Well, I see
rapid
here
fire
that
style.
yeah, in line with that, a couple of people are saying that their plants died when they used coffee grounds. So I guess the important thing is to make sure that you mix it with a compost, not a vermicompost, but a regular compost, and so it's just a minimal
Mm,
amount, and don't
mm.
just put the coffee grounds
Yes.
directly on your plant. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I tried that one. I put all this coffee grounds directly into my plants. It all died. It's very acidic. So
Mm.
you just like you need to yeah. Mix.
It's a learning experience for everybody.
Yeah. So that's why I told you like you just like there are no mistakes in gardening, by the way. It's only experiments. So you learn by
Okay.
doing.
Experiments
That's
work,
how
work out well or bad.
that's how Mark and I go through life, actually.
Yes, that's how we host events. Okay,
Let's get a couple
yeah,
more in rapid
yeah,
fire. Actually, let's do
yeah.
that.
How about used tea bags? Is it also too acidic? From Leah Angelo Ballesteros Fernandez.
Excellent.
Yeah, you use tea bags. I actually apply it in my vermi, but not so
Oh,
much. Uh, use tea bags along with its content can be good food for your worms.
oh,
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to do this on a like a minimal basis, like just like add a little bit of tea bag and here and there, and then from based on experience, and I add more if I see that the worms are eating it well.
mm-hmm.
But without vermi, you can yeah, you can compost tea bag using your composting bin. It's also compostable.
Okay.
All
We
right.
have another question from Chris Rafana and Del Rosario. How about brown bags and the carton for plastic cups for hot beverages?
You mean in composting?
Yes, I believe
As
he
as a
means in
Yeah,
composting.
container.
yes. As container or as in composting?
In composting, I believe.
Yes, you can shred it. Make sure the cardboard or the box is not printed with anything that is, there's
Has
this
ink.
ink that is made of petroleum. So
Right.
may
Right.
it be a food grade ink or vegan ink. But you can actually shred it and then wash it or soak it in water before you put it in your bin, just to make it softer, more easy to decompose.
Okay, may I just add that he's also asked about the carton for plastic cups for hot beverages. If it's just the thing that they use for carrying, then yes, I think that's okay. But if you're actually talking about, for instance, paper cups, a lot of people are unaware that the paper cups actually have a plastic lining in them, so they are not compostable. Is that correct, Monsi?
Yes, it is. You can actually use your paper cup as your seedling tray or something like this.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So probably the only thing you can compost is the paper sleeve that's made out of cardboard. Right.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Verns de Malanta asking, how can we consult Muncie? Is there a way we can reach you if people have any other questions regarding the wonderful world of composting 101 and urban gardening? Please let us know and type it in actually if you can, or I'll type it in as well.
Actually, no, it's here right now. One of our WWF staff have answered Verns by saying, just drop us a message at teampanda@wwf.org.ph, and then yes, they can I guess get you in contact with Monsi. We'll have one more question, and then sadly we will have to leave because it's actually past 6:30. So this one is from Jarawel Daniel Abao. Can I use urea and complete fertilizer as a substitute for FPJ, FFJ, and such? I don't have space and materials to do and prepare that. I know that it's not organic, but that's all I have.
Yeah, just to explain now, there are two types of fertilizer. One is your organic fertilizer, and one is your chemical fertilizer, like the urea and the 14-14 or complete.
Right.
So the difference between the two is that the organic fertilizer, it feeds the soil. So soil is a living thing. So you feed the soil, it will be broken down by the different microorganisms in the soil as soil nutrients for the plant to absorb through its roots. So when you're applying organic fertilizer, you're actually feeding the soil. Now, when you're using chemical fertilizer, you're actually feeding the plant directly. So there's a tendency to overuse or apply more, and it will create acidity to the soil. So that's why there's a practice called good agricultural practice, or the judicious use of fertilizer. So depends on you, but you should really follow the instructions on how to apply the synthetic fertilizer, because it will maybe create more harm than good down the line. So and of course it is costly. You need to buy it. So in urban container gardening, our principle is if it's for free, it's for least cost option, the better for you. So depends on you, but in terms of crop nutrition, the synthetic fertilizer also will provide nutrition to your plant. And the good thing with container gardening, you're actually confining the impact of your fertilizer within the container and not to the ground. So that's one of the, I think, the advantages of urban container gardening in terms of fertilization.
Okay, I've got one personal follow-up question to that. Using chemical fertilizers, will that affect the soil in such a way that you will have to possibly change the soil if you want to grow a different crop later on after harvesting the first crop?
Well, it will affect the soil if you use it more than what is prescribed. And in urban container gardening, we actually practice what we call soil rotation, or solarizing the soil. After the first cropping, or after you grow the crop, you just like remove the soil from the container, sieve it again, mix it again, solarize it again, and then reuse it again. So that's how you do it. So you can actually reuse the soil, but just be sure when you're using this type of fertilizer to be more cautious in the application of quantities, so as not to make your soil acidic or down the line affect the growth of your plant. It will give more harm than good.
And if you use the organic fertilizers that you've mentioned in your talk, but you should still solarize and mix the soil when you're replanting in that same soil. Is that correct?
Yes, Mark. Yes, Mark. It's the same process.
All right. Excellent.
Excellent.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, Monsi, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure and an education all around.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of Monsi and WWF, we just want to thank everyone who tuned in to this, our very, very first Panda Talk. And we want to thank, of course, Monsi for taking the time out. Once again, he is our WWF Project Manager for Sustainable Food Systems, and a very educational talk that was. A quick reminder, if you would like to donate to help us support the lives of those who support ours, the farmers, the fishermen, and people that are involved in different WWF projects around the country, please just scan that QR code that you see on your screen right now, because we're one big happy Bayanihan family. We need to help each other as much as possible. And tune in for our next Panda Talk, once again happening on April 29, 11 a.m. to 12 noon with Paolo Pagaduan, Project Manager for Forest and the Water, and Ms. Karen Ibasco, again, April 29. And actually, Ro, do you want to plug this next one, the IG account?
Yeah, WWF-Philippines. Well, let me just add that WWF-Philippines will also post a post-assessment survey link in the Panda Talks Facebook event page, so the viewers can answer to help us improve the Panda Talks. This is unofficially the first one. I believe we did one already. That was a trial run when we were online last week, I think. But anyway, we love this. This is a great way for us to engage with you guys, and it's immediate. We see exactly what you're thinking. So let us know how we can make the experience much better. Please fill out the survey. Again, that's going to be on the Facebook event page. And one more thing to plug as well, Mr. Nelson, if you don't mind. It's
we would
national.
Oh yeah, go. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. This is the one I rudely interrupted Muncie earlier. Sorry. I just got so excited because I'd love to hear the thoughts of our youth. They don't discount them. They are way ahead of where Mark and I were at their age, and they really have some wisdom to share with us. That's the National Youth Council event, Conservation Conversation. I practiced that during the slides
Good job.
presentation. Thank you. Nature Exploration, WWF Philippines IG account. So go ahead and follow that as well. Hosted by National Youth Council members Gab Mejia, Nikki Huang, and Dane Soriano. They'll be interviewing Action Man and just an amazing photographer, Javi Kang, 7 to 8 p.m. Again, that's oh shoot, when is the actual day of that? Let me
that's today. That's happening.
That's today, right after us.
Yeah, that's happening in about 18 minutes or so. So guys, now is a great time for you to take a bathroom break, grab yourself a drink of water, and then come back. And we don't normally encourage people to spend so much time online, but this is for a very, very good reason. Our WWF Youth Council, as Ravilson mentioned, are leaps and bounds ahead of most people their age group, but it's very inspiring to see the youth taking such control of and passion for saving the environment. And it'll be a very, very interesting talk indeed. They're each very talented and interesting in their own right. So much more when they have a conservation conversation now with such a talented photographer.
Yes, and go ahead and check out their social media sites as well. They are all leaders of their own industries. Nikki Huang, of course, and Gab Mejia, and I've already peeked at Javi Kang's social media accounts. Phenomenal work. So please follow them as well.
And Dane as well.
Yes. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah. From Mark and Ravilson, we just want to say thank you very much, guys, once again for tuning in, and we look forward to doing this again sometime, right?
Yes. Thank you for making Panda Talks so successful. And Muncie, we appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Keep safe always and grow your own food.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Muncie. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.